الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أبنائي بناتي طلبة وطالبات الشهادة الإعدادية، ازيكم عاملين إيه؟ It's very nice to be with you again. Mr. Ramadan greets you. Today we are going to discuss and explain Unit 7, which is titled All About Sports. If we talk about sports, then we need to talk about being good, being in a good health, being fit, eating healthy food. But we aren't going to speak about all these things, but we are going to talk about some kinds of sports and their history. So let's go to our vocabulary today, which starts with nouns. First word is necessity. Necessity. Pole, centimeter, kilometer, obligation, costume, championship, stadium, self-respect, racket, court, gram, meter, rahat, weight, spectators, helmet, opponent. And let's move to verbs. Score, kick, measure, weigh, hurry, compete, congratulate, yell. Adverbs and adjectives. Necessary, wooden, endure, accurate. And the only adverb is accurately, which we have today. Let's go to the meaning of these words. Necessity. What is the meaning of the word necessity? It means something you have to do. Without it, there is shortage or lack. Pull, from wood or metal to fix something on it. Centimeter, kilometer, and meter are used for measurement. Centimeter is 10 millimeters. A meter is 10 centimeters, 100 centimeters, sorry, and a kilometer is 100 meters. Let's go to racket, which is a tool used to play tennis and some other sports. Court, an area, especially in a stadium, to play sports inside it. Gram is a unit of weight, to know how heavy something is, to put it on scales to know its weight. Gram, kilogram, but we don't have kilogram here. A gram is a very small unit of weight, and a kilogram consists of 1,000 grams. Kilogram. Obligation means you have to do it, like necessity. Obligation and necessity are similar to each other, but with some difference. We are going to talk about this difference when we discuss structure of today. Rahat, another meaning of hand. Let's go to costume, which is special uniform for a special place or party or something like this. The word weight means how heavy something is. Championship, a competition especially in sports. Spectators, people who come to the stadium to watch a match. Stadium is the place where a match is held or played. Helmet, it's a piece which you wear on your head to protect it, especially in sports like cycling. Self-respect means to behave well in order to make the others respect you. So you must respect yourself to make the others respect you. This is called self-respect. Opponent is a team or a player who plays against you. Verbs. Score, do something to win in the match. You score a goal or a point to win in a match. Kick, hit with your leg or foot. Measure means to know how tall or long something is. Weigh, to know how heavy something is. Hurry, to behave, walk, go, eat, do anything but quickly. Compete, like a race with others to know who comes first in a competition. Congratulate, to say to someone nice words when he wins a match or a competition. The word yell means shout, using very bad words. Insult, like insult someone. Necessary, it's an adjective, which means we have to do it. Wooden, something made of wood. Indoor, inside. Accurate, minute. Accurate means minute. When you say I am accurate in my times, it means I arrive on time every time. Accurately is an adverb, means I do it in an accurate way. So we have some exercises about this vocabulary. Number one, spectators shouldn't space unkind words about the other team. Spectators shouldn't encourage, listen, yell. Receive, yes, yell. Space are important tools for playing tennis. To play tennis, you need rackets, pools, sticks, no, rackets. That's right. Basketball was invented by a Canadian. PE. Do you know what is the meaning of PE? Physical education, yes. But basketball was invented by a Canadian. PE, physical education, carpenter, chemist, scientist, or teacher? Yes, teacher. Space goals or points is the most important thing at any game to win. Scoring, kicking, holding, grabbing. Yes, it's scoring. Okay, let's move to our book. Before we read the text, we have here small quiz to test your knowledge of this vocabulary. Place number one is answered in exercise number 3. Number one is answered, so number 2, places where a tennis or basketball match is played. What are these places? They are courts. Yes. What you need to do or to win in some sports games? Score. Inside a building means indoor. Yeah. So let's go to read today's text. It talks about sports history, the history of sports, of some sports, of course, not all sports. Some experts believe that tennis was first an Egyptian sport because the word racket is very similar to the Arabic word rahat. It means hands. Other people believe that it was invented by the French or in the 11th or 12th century. By the 13th century, there were as many as 1,800 indoor courts. So people didn't have to wait for good weather in order to play. In those days, players had to hit the ball with their hands. By 1,500, the game was played with a wooden racket. The very first tennis balls were made from leather, filled with horse hair or wool. Today, tennis balls are rubber and have to measure 6.54 to 7.3 centimeters across the middle and weigh 56 to 59.49 grams. Basketball was invented in 1891 by a Canadian physical education teacher called James Naismith. In that year, he thought, I must find a new sport for my students to play in winter because it's too cold to play outside. The new game could be played inside in any weather. James Naismith tied two balls at each end of the court. A player had to throw the ball into the basket in order to score. At first, before the bottom of the baskets were cut off, a player had to take the ball out of the basket after he or she scored. The game is now very popular, although you must practice every day to be good at it. This was our text, and now we move to structure. Our grammar today speaks about obligation and necessity. Obligation and necessity. Obligation, someone forces you and makes you do this. If you don't do it, so you lose something, or you may be harmed, punished, or something like this. But necessity comes from you, from your inside. You want from yourself to do it, so it's called necessity. Let's move to the first point. Have to and has to. This form is used to talk about rules or things that the other people say are necessary. I made a table here and divided it into positive form and negative form. In the positive form, we use have or has to. Of course, have with I, we, you, they, and the plural. Has with he, she, it, and the singular name, a noun. This is the positive case. And example, we have to go to school on time. She has to get she has to get a passport to travel to London. Number one, we have to go to school on time. If we don't arrive at school on time, so we may be punished, we may be deprived from attending the first lesson, we may be sent home again and don't attend all the day. Number two, she has to get a passport. Without the passport, she can't travel anywhere, not only London. But in the negative form, which we use don't and doesn't, I, we, you, they, plural, don't have to the infinitive. He, she, it, and the singular use doesn't have to plus infinitive. This form means that you don't need to do it. You don't need to do this. If you did it, okay, it's no problem to do it. Let's read the example and discuss. We don't have to take a taxi. There is still enough time. So if we took a taxi here in this example, there is no harm will happen, no punishment, nothing bad will happen to us, but we don't need to do it. Example 2, Minna doesn't have to hurry. Minna doesn't have to hurry. She isn't late for school. Okay, Minna lives next to the school, very near to her school, and she has about 50 or 40 minutes till the start of the day. So she doesn't have to hurry. She can walk very slowly and arrive at school, and she doesn't need to hurry. Let's move to must and mustn't. We use must and mustn't to say that something is very important to do or is not important to do. But if it's very important, it's important to do, and we use must, okay, you must do it, it's a very strong advice. But if you use mustn't, it's a warning. Using must is important, but not obligated. Using mustn't is an obligatory. If I say you mustn't do this thing and you did it, oh, you will be punished or deprived of anything you like. Let's read example number 1. You must see a doctor. You have been ill for a week. Okay, you must see a doctor because it's a good strong advice. But if you don't go now to see a doctor, you only may be harmed, but not put in prison. You may lose your health. You may die. So I warn you and advise you strongly to go to a doctor. But let's read next example. He mustn't bark here. It's against the law. If he insisted and barked there in this place, so his car may be taken by the police. Number 3, using had to in the past. This is the past form for all subjects. All subjects use had to, and this is in the positive form. But in the negative we use didn't have to. The same meaning of have, has to, and doesn't have to. Had to means he had to do it, or you had to do it in the past, but you didn't. I couldn't go to the park yesterday because I had to finish my homework. It's another meaning. I couldn't go to the park. I couldn't go outside yesterday because I had to finish my homework. I finished it, and I couldn't leave my homework without finishing it. Didn't have to. We didn't have to do computer studies. We weren't allowed. We weren't obligated to study computer studies in the past when we were at primary school. It means that we needn't. Let's go to the question form. When we use did someone have to do something? Did Samira have to do physical education when she was at school? Question word plus did subject have to means when I ask how long did they have to wait until the bus arrived, they had to wait for 15 minutes. Let's apply these grammar rules on the book which we are going to answer. Lesson 3. Sorry, lesson 2. Yes, lesson 2. In the first example, we are going to underline the verbs used for obligation. In those days, players had to. Yes, had to hit the ball with their hands. Number 3, today tennis ball have to weigh, have to. Number 4, I must find a new sport. I must find a new sport for my students to play in winter. And this is the discussion and explanation. Let's go to this dialogue or small dialogue between Selma and her grandfather. Selma asks her grandfather, did you have to do PE when you were at school? Her grandfather said, yes, we. السؤال بديد يبقى الإجابة بديد. Yes, we did. But we have to do. عايزين نستخدم not. But we didn't. Did not have to. Didn't have to do PE every day. سؤال تاني. You have to do PE. Did you? Yes. Did you have? Did you have to do PE when it was very hot? No. If it was very hot, we didn't have to do. Did not. Did not have to do PE. Very good. Let's move to lesson. To page 39, review of Unit 7. The first question asks you about some words and definitions. In order to play tennis, yes, you have to hit the ball to the opponent side of the court. If you want to be a spectator at a sports event, if you want to watch a match in a stadium, you have to buy tickets. Yeah, you have to buy tickets. If you are the referee is a person who judges or controls a game. You have to decide if something is right or wrong in a match. This is A. Exercise 2 is left for you as a homework. Exercise 3, we are going to choose. It's an achievement, number 1, to be an Olympic athlete. Furthermore, or however, it's really hard work. Okay, it's answered to you. Basketball players need to be tall. In addition, well, although some good players are short. في contrast, في تناقض يبقى although. Although, well, in addition, I really enjoy playing speedball. I don't have any time to practice it. Okay, contrast, although. I enjoy watching tennis on TV. However, well, in addition, I never play it. However. Now let's move to this structure again to know that we still have some exercises about today's grammar. You aren't allowed to smoke in hospitals. We need to use mustn't. We need to use mustn't. هتبقى you mustn't smoke in hospitals. You don't have to hurry. You have too much time. It's not necessary. It's not necessary to hurry. To hurry. And you can say we have too much time or not. It's optional. I need to use has here. It's necessary for Ahmed to work hard. هتبقى Ahmed, yes. has to work hard. And I will leave the rest for you to answer for your homework. I was very pleased to be with you. Thank you very much. Till we meet again, and goodbye.